Hello everybody, my name is Hello. Welcome to this series where we are solving code forces problems in Python. Today we are solving problem 116a, which is called tram. We're doing the A towards A ladder. By the way, this 116a tram problem is actually quite simple. There's a lot of equations here. You guys don't need to pay a lot of attention over there and get confused. It's a very simple question. Let's just go ahead and see how we can solve this. Okay, so let's go ahead and read through this question once before we attempt to solve it. So first, they're saying there's a linear kingdom, right? And this particular kingdom has exactly one tram line. Okay, this tram line has n stops. Tram line is basically like a metro system. Okay, if you guys didn't know. So they're saying there is n stops total, stop number 1 to n, okay, in order of the tram's movement. And at the ith stop, A passengers exit the tram while B passengers enter it. Okay, so how that looks like is, let's just assume that this is a tram. Okay, let's say there's a window, something like that. Let's say there's a wheel here followed by a track. Okay, and there are let's say there are 4 stations for it. Okay, so this will be station 1, initial station. This will be station 2, this will be station 3, and this will be station 4. And at each station, there are A people exiting the tram and B people entering it. Okay, and they're saying that the tram is empty before it arrives at the first stop, and when the tram arrives at the last stop, all passengers exit it. Okay, so A is for exit and B is for entry. So initially we know that A1 will be 0 because all passengers will entry in the first stop. Similarly, B of 4 here will be 0. That is, all passengers have exited. There is no other entry. Okay. So what they're saying is, our task is to calculate the tram's minimum capacity such that the number of people inside the tram at any time never exceed this capacity. Okay. They're saying that note that at each stop, all exiting passengers exit before any passenger enters the train. Okay, we'll see why this particular condition is very important to this question. But before that, what they're trying to ask is, what is the minimum capacity such that the number of people inside the train never exceed the capacity? Okay, so what that means is they want us to find a number, that number being the maximum amount of passengers in the tram at any given point. So this number should never get exceeded. Okay, so let's just work out an example so that I can kind of understand a bit better. Okay, so something to keep in mind is how the input is given. So you have this n here, which is the number of stops, okay, followed by n lines, and in each line it will be first ai, bi, the number of passengers exiting that particular station and then entering that particular station. So let's just go ahead and copy these values for this particular case. So for the first station right here, we know that the people exiting it is 0 because it's the first station, and there are 3 people entering it. Okay, and in the second case, we know that the number of people exiting is 2, and then people entering it is 5. Okay, and in the third station, the number of people exiting it will be 4, and the number of people entering it, B3, will be 2. Okay, which is this and this. Finally, we have B4, which is 0. That means there's nobody entering there in the last station, but everybody else exits. So that will be A4, the number of people exiting will be 4. Okay, so how this works out and how to solve this particular problem for this input, this is how it works. Okay, so initially, let's keep a counter for passengers. Okay, initially there is nobody getting down. Okay, but there are 3 people entering, correct? In the second station, so the tram has now passed to the second station. Okay, there are 2 people exiting, so now there is 2 less passengers, but there are 5 people entering it, and there is 5. Okay, then the tram goes to the next place, right? And again here there are 4 people exiting, right, and followed by 2 people entering. Then next there will be 4 people exiting and no one else entering. Okay, so when you calculate all of this, you'll get 0. That's how that works. Now I hope you're able to understand till now, and now only we're actually going to go ahead and solve this question. Okay, so now let us calculate the number of passengers between each of these places. Okay, so here, what is the number of passengers? The passengers entering will be 3, and there's no one else. So in this particular case, the number of passengers will be 3. Okay, from 2 to 3, what will be the number of passengers? That will be 3 minus 2 plus 5, correct? So there will be 1 plus 5, which is equal to 6. So in this particular case, from 2 to station 3, the number of passengers will be 6. Okay, from 3 to 4, what is the number of passengers? To find out that, we can say, so that will be 6. So currently there are 6 passengers. From 6, I am going to go ahead and 4 passengers are going to exit, minus 4, and 2 passengers are going to enter, plus 2. Okay, so that will be nothing but 4. Okay, from 3 to 4 there are 4. Okay, and after 4 everybody is obviously going out, right? So these are the amount of passengers for each station. Okay, now we simply need to calculate which of these values right here has the highest capacity. So in this case that will be 6, which means if I select a tram of size 6, that means at any point the tram will not overflow because it's going to be 3 or 4, right? So that's how that works, and that's how we're going to solve this problem as well. For each particular station, we're going to calculate what is the capacity, we're going to find out this particular value, and we're going to find out what is the highest or the maximum capacity of that particular tram. Okay, and then we're going to print that as the answer. We're going to keep track of this. So that's it, guys. I hope you're able to understand what's going on here. So yeah, if you guys are able to understand, go ahead and write the code yourself. That's what I always recommend. If not, stick around. Let's move on to the code now. So first, let's go ahead and input this n value because we need to input the number of stations. So this will be the number of stations. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and print input n stations A and B values. Okay, so here obviously you need to keep in mind A means exit, B means entry, and this obviously means number of people exit, and this will be number of people entry. Okay, so for in range of n, so this underscore is there because we're not really going to use this particular value. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a list input. Okay, so that will be list of map of in comma input dot r strip dot split. If you guys don't know what this is basically taking a string of space separated integers, converting that into a list. Okay, so now here A will be nothing but list of 0, B will be nothing but list of 1 because that is the format of this input. Okay, now that we have done this, what else can we see? See, we need to keeping track of maximum passengers at any given time. Okay, so that will be max passengers. Okay, let's keep that something as 0, let that be 0. Okay, then we need to keep track of a current passengers. So how many passengers are right now there in the tram? And now what we'll do is let's update the current passengers. And how are we doing that? See, they're telling you in the question that the number of people that is exiting, they'll exit first, then only they'll enter. That means this current passengers will be equal to nothing but the current passengers value minus the number of people exiting plus the number of people entering. Okay, and they're exiting first, so that value should never affect it will never affect the maximum capacity of that particular tram. Okay, then we need to check if this value is greater than max passengers, because if it is, we have to go ahead and update this particular max passengers value so that we know what is the maximum amount that this tram can take, and that will be the minimum maximum amount. And we're saying if this is the capacity, yes, you can go ahead and build a tram for that. Okay, so how do we do that? Simple, we just check if current passengers is greater than this max passengers number. Just go ahead and set max passengers to current passengers. Okay, that's it. We'll set this particular value to this max value, and once this is done, we can just go ahead and print this max passengers value, and we are done with the code, guys. So let's just go ahead and run this particular case. You can see the test case passed. Let me just go ahead and submit this code as well so that you guys know this code is working. So as you can see, the solution got accepted, guys. I hope this video is helpful for you. Some things to keep in mind. You don't really have to understand all of this, especially if you understand the question. But yeah, this may seem a bit, overwhelming at starting, but it's a very, very easy question. I hope this video helped you. If it did, hit that like button. I'll see you in another video. Until then, bye.